Hello, and welcome to this week's podcast with me, Gail from Sober Bliss. How are you? If you're listening to this as it is released, if it's brand new and you're listening to it now, then we're well over halfway into January, coming towards the end of January, actually. And if you're doing a dry January, you will have noticed some brilliant changes already. I'm pretty sure of that. You might be feeling the benefits kicking in and you might be feeling great. Or maybe you're struggling a little bit as you come towards the end and you need a bit of a boost. Because what I don't want you to do is get to the end and then have a drink. Honestly, the dry January, so October, all of those kind of month-long challenges are really best when you use them as a springboard as opposed to your sober journey. If you use it as a place to start, don't think of it as having a break, having a month off, and then you can just crack on as normal. That's really not the point. So if you're thinking like that, I really hope that you might think again. And this podcast is going to help you wherever you are on your journey. And it's more of a coaching podcast today, I would say, than me just rambling on as I normally do. So before you listen any further, then maybe press pause, go and make yourself a cup of tea, get your journal if you want, or a notepad and paper and pen, because I'm going to be asking you some questions. And I really want to help you today. And I really want you to take some time over the answers to the questions that I'm going to be asking you. And I'm going to be helping you to change your thinking today so that you can change your drinking. We're going to be working on mindset and our thoughts, which, as you know, play such a huge part in this sober journey. And the podcast today has been inspired actually by some of the conversations that I've been having with one-to-one clients lately. Just the other day, one of my clients in a session told me, we were talking about a fabulous lunch that she had with a friend and how she really enjoyed the food, the company. And she said it was just so amazing. I had a really nice time. There were no thoughts of alcohol at all. And we've just been working together for about a month. So already you can see how much she's changed. And then she said, when I got home and arranged to go out on a date for the next day, suddenly all of these thoughts came up, thinking about how I've never been on a date before and not had a drink. Thoughts that, she would be nervous, self-conscious, she wouldn't be able to relax, it would be weird, she wouldn't feel confident, and maybe she would just have one to see her through. And then she went on to say how much it surprised her that the thoughts suddenly popped up and took over and actually made her feel anxious, even though they were just thoughts. She said, I recognize the anxiety coming from those thoughts. And then she said she did the breathing exercise that we'd done together the previous session and managed to, calm herself down and look at the thoughts from, a bit more an objective point of view. And then another friend was telling me about a recent experience she had and how, on reflection, she realized that much of our experiences and expectations are shaped by our thoughts. And she said, as I continue to embrace this alcohol-free lifestyle, I'm confirming to myself over and over through positive thinking, through mantras, through affirmations, through just doing the things, that this is a better way to live, way better. So you can see already just from those two examples, just how powerful our thoughts are and how much they can influence our sober journey. not just our sober journey, our life in general, really, but let's just stick to sobriety for today. So, yeah, our thoughts can influence so much: our feelings, our emotions, our experiences, our beliefs. And as the topic of the podcast today suggests, I want to help you to change your thinking so that you can change your drinking, or at least change the way you feel about sobriety, and help you to move in a more positive direction, to help you feel better about the whole thing, because that's what I'm all about. Quitting drinking can just be such an amazing, positive, powerful, uplifting experience. And a lot of that stems from what we think about it. And you do have the power to do that. You do have the power to change everything from within. So today, hopefully, I'm going to help you to see how your thoughts have possibly been affecting your behavior and your emotions, and how we can then use this information to help us. So you know that your mind is powerful. You know this. And perhaps up until this point, in terms of sobriety, maybe it's been working against you. Maybe it's been keeping you stuck. Maybe it's been preventing you from, going beyond 100 days, going beyond 30 days. Maybe it's stopped you from even starting the journey, filling you with self-doubt and fear and uncertainty. Perhaps it's making you choose the easy way out, when it gets a bit challenging, when it gets difficult. You know what it's like when a thought about drinking pops up and you allow that thought to take over. It can turn into a really powerful craving, or it can turn into, massive self-doubt and fear. Similarly, when you remember a brilliant experience that you've had, or something great, or something funny, and you start to feel good about that thing, a memory, an experience, a joke, whatever it might be, you physically feel better. You smile, you might even laugh, and your energy is elevated. So 2 thoughts, one positive, one negative, can have such massive difference on how we feel emotionally, and also a physical effect. Remember the anxiety that started to happen for my client. So today I want to help you to use your mind in a more positive way, in a more powerful way, to perhaps take back a bit of control, and to see how your thoughts may have been, making sobriety not sound that great. We're going to try and get your heart and your head aligned and change your mindset so that you can quit drinking, and not just quit drinking, but feel good about it. I want you to feel free and happy, proud and strong, and inspired by the sober journey that you're on. So first of all, I think it's important to remember that your thoughts, no matter how powerful they are, they're just thoughts. A thought can't make you physically do anything. They come and they go. And yeah, I get it. They can be really strong. They can seem to take over. Thoughts have shaped our beliefs. They influence our behavior, our experiences, and our emotions. However, when it comes down to it, a thought is just a thought. And we can change them. We can let them go. We can question them. We can take them apart and lay them out and unravel them. We can just ignore them all together. You are in control. And maybe you've noticed already how your thoughts have shaped your experiences on this sober journey. They can't step in and sabotage our efforts to stop drinking. I'm no stranger to allowing negative thoughts to put me off beginning my journey. I'll start tomorrow, or it's going to be too hard because the kids are off school, or it's Christmas, or I've got the summer holidays coming up, or I've got that big job and I'm just not going to be able to do it. So our thoughts, there's no truth necessarily, have automatically made me believe that now's not the right time to stop drinking. They can make the challenges, the difficulties just seem too much. And all the negative points of not drinking will come to the forefront of our minds, and we can literally think ourselves out of stopping drinking or carrying on. Because the problem with thoughts, they're not necessarily bad on their own, but with us repeatedly listening to them again and again, if you listen to negative thoughts or scary thoughts, then that's when they start to take hold, they start to become embedded, they start to become beliefs. And it's when thoughts turn into limiting beliefs about something that we get stuck. We can't move on. And that's when the pattern of, stopping, starting, the cycle just continues on and on, because we haven't found a way past this particular belief that's keeping us where we are. It makes sense. If you always tell yourself, or rather, if you always listen to the thought that pops up and says, sober's boring, it's dull, it's difficult, you're going to lose all your friends, you're not going to have fun, then eventually that thought will become a belief. And that's what you're going to believe about sobriety, whether it's actually true or not. And that's when, a thought turns into an ingrained belief, and that's when it becomes difficult to push through, to move past. And it's probably the common thought, belief that you've had. Booze, drinking is fun. It's the I can't socialize without alcohol thought or belief. It's the thought that you need alcohol to relax, to have fun, to go on a date, to meet up with the other mums from school, to have Christmas, to go on holiday. It's a thought that we need alcohol to do all of those things. And it's simply because these thoughts have been in our head for so long, as I said, they turn into beliefs. They come from repeatedly thinking these things to ourselves, and behaviour, doing the thing over and over again, from seeing other people behaving and thinking that way. So of course it's going to be difficult to imagine an alternative, and that is where a thought can keep you stuck. However, as you and I both know, and I know you know this, there is an alternative. People all over the world, myself included, everybody that I work with, have been able to change our thoughts, change our beliefs, and let go of it and move on and have amazing, happy, wonderful, successful, inspiring, joyful, alcohol-free lives. And not one of us, myself included, thought that it was possible before we did it. So I get you, I understand. Thoughts can be really powerful. But so are you. You're even more powerful than your thoughts. Which means that even though you've been listening and believing those thoughts up until now, even though the media tells us that sober is boring, alcohol is great, our drinking buddies, all the marketing, even though they tell us that sobriety is hard, drinking is great, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the absolute gospel truth, because it's not. Now, it might feel like the truth if that's what you've been allowing into your head and heart over and over again, but that doesn't make it the truth. And it might be somebody else's truth, but that doesn't make it your truth. So how do we start to live a different truth? How do we begin to separate ourselves from the thoughts and not let them control our actions? How can we begin to have more positive thoughts and therefore more positive beliefs about sobriety and an alcohol-free lifestyle? Well, this is the exciting part of the podcast, the exciting part of the journey, and this is the coaching bit. And I know you will have heard what I'm about to say numerous times before, but I want you to not just listen here, I want you to do the exercises that I'm going to share with you. And this will show you, the power of coaching, self-coaching, if you like, if you allow yourself the time and the space to really get into it and question what you've always thought to be true. And this is a little taster, I suppose, of what it's like to work with me one-on-one. This is how I teach, this is how I guide you and help you and support you. So I hope you're sitting comfortably because we're going to begin now. And I want to ask you, just what are your thoughts about quitting drinking, about not drinking, about sobriety? And the first exercise is to write them all down. So you might want to pause this for a bit after I finished asking the question. So write down everything that pops into your head when you think about quitting drinking, when you think about sobriety, when you think about your life without alcohol in it. And it doesn't matter how, ridiculous, silly, or challenging even your thoughts are. It doesn't matter how much you believe them at the moment to be true or otherwise, but I do want you to be honest and transparent with yourself. I want you to be completely open here. There's no point in hiding because you're just hiding from yourself. I can't see what you've written, only you can. So if you tell a little lie or fib, then it's just yourself you're lying to. And there will be a mix of thoughts that come into your head. Some will be positive, some will be negative, and it doesn't matter where those thoughts come from. That's something that we can work on over time. But the idea here is just to get everything out so then we can look at them and work out, how those thoughts have been affecting our emotion and our behavior. And hopefully we're going to turn some of the negatives into positive thoughts. Because you will have, as I said, a mix of negative and positive thoughts. There will be some good thoughts that pop up about not drinking. Of course there will be. Otherwise, why would you want to do it? But it is the negative thoughts that tend to take over and keep us stuck and keep dragging us back down. You know what it's like. You could be having an amazing day and then a negative thought will pop up when things get maybe tricky or we're challenged or we're triggered, and we begin to say unkind things to ourselves, and then we begin to believe those things, and that's when a negative thought can really influence our behavior. Okay, so just spend a bit of time and get all of the thoughts down on paper. And you can pause this while you do so. Okay, so now that you've got all of those thoughts written down, just have a read through them and then go through them one by one. And I want you to ask really honest questions. And this is where the honesty and the openness and the transparency comes in. So ask yourself, is this thought that I've written down, is it really 100% absolutely true? And then once you've got your answer, ask yourself again, Are you sure? And where's the evidence to support that? For example, if you've written down a thought that pops up quite often is just one won't hurt. Ask yourself, really? Is that 100% absolutely true? And then once you've got your answer, ask again, are you sure? Will it just be one drink? Is that 100% true? Will it just be one and that's it? Will I just have one glass and then never ever drink again after that? Are you sure? Where's the evidence? And then, you look at what's happened before. Have you had that thought that's led you to having a drink? And was it just one or was it more? What really happened? Is it likely to happen again? Do I really want to put myself through it again? Just keep asking yourself, are you sure? Where's the evidence? And you should begin to break that thought apart, see it for what it is. And if you like, if it makes it easier to separate yourself from the thought, then you can imagine that the wine witch has said that to you. You know what I mean? So it's not you. Your thoughts are definitely not you. But it can feel like that sometimes. So, break it apart, dismantle the thought, really look at it, break it down, take away the power. Another example might be that you think, life is just so boring when I'm not drinking. Really? Are you sure? Is that 100% true? Explain yourself to me. Why is that? What makes you think that life is boring without alcohol? Is that 100% the truth? Why? Are you sure? Where's the evidence? Show me why this thought is, 100% true for me. And hopefully, especially with that one, you will begin to see that actually no, the thought is just a thought. It's not the truth, because I have had and do have fun without alcohol. In fact, drinking is going to be the most boring activity in the world. And show me the evidence for that. Okay, you get the idea. So do this for a few of your most powerful, most recurring, most paralyzing thoughts that you have that have been keeping you stuck. And once you've kind of unpicked them and questioned them and really looked at them, with a microscope almost, I would imagine that they will begin to feel less threatening and maybe even a little bit ridiculous. Which is fine, don't judge yourself for having these thoughts, because while these are your thoughts, they're not you. So you can think what you like about your thoughts, if you know what I mean. Separate yourself. You are not your thoughts, okay? So hopefully you're feeling a little bit better about that, because it's not you. It's probably the addictive part of your brain that's been telling you these things. And I want you to feel a little bit empowered by that, because it shows you just how much control that you can have over your thoughts. So you've got more positive thoughts about your thoughts now. And I want you to think about how you can begin to bring more positivity to your thoughts about not drinking, your thoughts about an alcohol-free lifestyle. For example, the thought, again, that pops up about just one drink won't hurt, okay? We've looked at it already and we've seen that actually it's not true. So what happens if I make if I come at this from a positive point of view, say I don't believe that one drink won't hurt. I don't want to drink, actually. And what happens if I don't drink? What happens if I go against this thought? How will I feel then? And this is the bit where you really focus on the benefits, really focus on the positives of not drinking. It's like playing the movie forward in your mind. We've talked about this before. It's a brilliant technique to beat a craving, but it can also show you a positive future, if you like. So you just want to go into as much detail as you can. If I don't give in to this thought that one won't hurt, how much better is the rest of the evening going to go? How much present am I going to feel? What about the great conversation? How am I going to feel in the morning? Go all the way to the end and just disprove the thought, if you like, as much as possible, and really tap into the feelings that come up when you disprove your own thought. So how does that feel? I would imagine that feels pretty good. And do that for the other thoughts that have popped up. It's one thing to discount them, to dismantle them, but if you can go a step further and disprove your own thought by doing the opposite, in your imagination, then that is something really empowering and uplifting. So take your time with it. You might want to come back to this podcast a couple of times and, do the exercises slowly and take it one thought at a time if you have to. But I'm really hoping that by doing the exercises that you can see for yourself that really thoughts are just that. They are just thoughts, and you can choose which ones to focus on and which ones to let go. You can choose the ones that you want to listen to. You can choose the ones that support your decision. You can choose the ones that inspire you and lift you up, and you can let the other ones go. Okay, so whenever a negative thought pops up for you, I don't want you to just take it for granted. I don't think you'll be able to do that now anyway. I want you to question it, to pull it apart as we just did. I want you to be aware now of just how powerful you are, just how much you're not going to let your thoughts take over and make you do something that you really don't want to do. You are in control, and you can therefore ignore, override, just ignore, override your thought, or you can turn it into something positive. You really can change your thinking in order to change your drinking. So these are really powerful techniques that you can use in the moment, but I want to just go on to help you think more positively in general about an alcohol-free lifestyle, because there are so many things that you can do day to day. Maybe it's part of your morning routine, your evening routine, whatever it might be, to help ground you in the thought, in the belief, in the feeling that living alcohol-free is just the best thing that you could ever do. So look at the benefits, focus on the positives of not drinking, not just in the moment, not just when a thought pops up, but as often as you can. And I'll be honest, it's not an easy thing to do, because as humans, we are actually programmed to focus on the negatives. We're programmed to think of the worst case scenario. I think it's a survival thing, because if you're prepared for the worst, then chances are you'll come out of it unscathed. So it's natural to be drawn to the dark side, if you like, which is why we have to make a bit of an effort to be positive about what it is that we're doing, especially when things get difficult. Sometimes we have to force ourselves to look for the benefits. But it really works and it is really helpful. And at the end of the day, would you rather be thinking doom and gloom all the time, or would you rather be, positive and uplifted? I know where I'd rather be. So some of the things that you can do in the day to day to reinforce your positive thinking around sobriety is to treat yourself very simply. And I say it a lot, I say it all the time. Find ways, reasons, excuses to treat yourself as often as you can, to help yourself feel good as often as you can. This is more showing yourself that not drinking is actually amazing. It is such a treat to not drink. And all of that positive reinforcement is just more evidence that you are actually doing an amazing thing. So what do I mean by treat yourself? Well, obviously we're not going to treat ourselves on chocolate every day, but just, I don't know, relax, let go, dance to your favorite song in the morning, put the music on, light a candle, put some incense on, do nice things for yourself, wear your fancy pajamas, wear the best shirt for work, don't save things for special occasion. Eat the nourishing, healthy food and enjoy it. In fact, eat, don't starve yourself. Don't not eat because you're too busy. It's time to slow down and look after yourself and really begin to put yourself first. That's what I mean by treating yourself. Go to bed early, wake up late, take the kids off somewhere special for the afternoon, go for a walk along the beach. You get the idea. Do things that make you feel good just because. And then you're going to start to associate not drinking with feeling good. We're going to rewire our brain when we do this. We're not just changing our thinking, we're changing everything. What else can you do? Exercise, obviously, that's a great mood enhancer. It's a great way to shift stuck energy. It's a great way to lift yourself up. And again, it's just another positive reinforcement that not drinking is good. Because if you've been drinking, then you're not going to go for the run or the yoga class or, the HIIT workout. But when you do that, you always feel amazing afterwards. So again, that's just another reinforcement that not drinking feels amazing. Meditate. Oh, how I love meditation. I'm doing a meditation course at the moment, and honestly, just 5 or 10 minutes a day has got so many magical benefits. Not least calming the body, relieving stress, calming the mind, helping us to release any negativity and anxiety and anger. If you do kind of mindfulness guided meditations as well, then you can take yourself off, into whole different worlds, and that feels really good. So not only is it more evidence, more reinforcement that not drinking is good, you're also, again, reprogramming your mind and calming everything down. Staying in the moment, that's also a really good thing you can do as often as you can, because happiness, true happiness, exists in the right now. And the more often you can really tune in and be in the now, the better you're going to feel. Often our negative thoughts are either obsessing about the past that we can't change or worrying about a future event, the whys, the what have yous, the ifs and the buts and the might haves, all of that, which can make you feel stressed and anxious. And it may or may not happen. There's nothing you can do about it. But by coming back to the present, you calm your nervous system, you calm down your overactive thinking brain. So focus on the little things, open your senses, enjoy the tea that you're drinking. Really look at the view outside of your window. Breathe in and breathe out and just notice how good that feels, because now is really all that matters. And if you're not drinking right now, then you're winning, and that feels pretty amazing. And finally, if you want to, you can choose an empowering affirmation to help keep the negativity at bay. If you notice a negative thought popping up, then you say your positive affirmation, because you can't have two conflicting thoughts or emotions in at the same time. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time. Try it if you don't believe me. So it might just be a question of, I'm going to say this positive thing over and over and over again until it starts to feel the truth, and the negative thoughts just give up because they're not allowed in. It doesn't really matter what the affirmation is. As you know, my affirmation was, I'm not drinking no matter what. And that felt really good. And that really helped me not be sucked into all the negativity that, it did pop up. It wasn't all sunshine and roses the minute I decided not to drink. I did have to deal with negative thoughts and feelings and all the rest of it. But that affirmation was sometimes just enough to pause and to stop the negative thought in its tracks. Because remember, it's not the thought itself that's bad. We're not all Pollyannas. We do have negative thoughts from time to time, and that's okay. It's human nature, as I said. And what did I hear the other day? Oh yeah, I was listening to somebody on an audiobook talking about thoughts, and she said, trying to stop your brain thinking thoughts is like trying to tell your heart to stop beating. Wow. I just blown away when I heard that. And it's so true. We can't stop ourselves from thinking. We can't, tell ourselves to stop thinking. It's impossible. But what we can do is accept that these thoughts will come up, recognize them for what they are. They're just thoughts. And then we can choose what to do with them. We can believe them, we can let them go, we can override them with something more empowering, or we can just ignore them. Whatever feels right to you. Remembering all the time that we have chosen to be on this journey. It is a decision that we've made. It is something deep down that we want to do. So why not make it positive? Why not make it enjoyable? Why not make it, the lovely, empowering, uplifting thing that it is? Because you can do that. You are in control. As I said, this is your choice. This is your life. And while they might be your thoughts, they're not you. And you do have the power to change them and choose the ones that support you and guide you. So I think I leave it there. The ball's in your court now. What are you going to do with those thoughts when they pop up as you begin to work towards more empowering and positive thoughts and beliefs? I hope so. So if that's inspired you, if you have more questions, if you do need more support, then I just want to remind you that I am here to help you. If you want more personalized, intimate, confidential, and highly transformational coaching, then book a call and let's talk about one-to-one coaching. I've got a couple of spaces left starting in February. So if you want one of those spaces, then book a call and let's chat. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about thoughts, specifically around our own negative self-talk and that inner chatter, which is something that I know you struggle with too. So let me know how you get on with today's exercises. Let me know what's helped. And remember, if you need more support, I am here. All you have to do is get in touch, and all of the links to do so will be in the show notes. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon.